You're working in a discriminat protected environment and you can add egress rules whenever you need. Domains for days. But that doesn't mean you won't need to do some troubleshooting. Sometimes you put a new domain in place and it isn't working the way you'd expect. In this video, I will give you some of the tools you need to properly diagnose these issues. First, a primer. discriminat has two log files. The config log, which picks up any changes in config and any errors discriminat sees with collecting the config and connection tests. Then we have the flow logs, which show the connections and domains that protected machines have used and whether the connection was allowed or not. Combining these logs and some basic cloud checks can help diagnose most issues. Don't forget, the log files are stored in the same project as the discriminat instances, so you may need to change project to see these files. Let's start with the low-hanging fruit. If it's a new firewall rule, is your instance tagged with the correct network tag? Check the VM in question and the firewall rule to make sure they match. To check this out, go to the flow log in Google's Logs Explorer and search for the IP address of the machine. You'll see here that it was disallowed because there were no matching rules found. The network tag of the firewall rule was not applied to the instance or GKE cluster. Next, let's look at the format of the rules themselves. It's very easy to make typos. For example, a standard typo, replacing dots with commas, and inserting spaces. All of these will cause your rule to not apply, or at least not apply to the correct site. Another example would be this. Say a customer has given you in good faith their endpoint as api.somecompany.org. So you add it to your rules, and once you can see in the config log that the address has been propagated to all discriminat instances, you expect it to work. But when you or your app tries to connect to it, you get an error. It might be natural to think this is a discriminat error, but the truth is the site you've been given isn't correct. This is a DNS error. As a result, it's not even sent a connection out, so you won't see the connection attempt in the flow log, but in the config log you will see a message saying no IP address is resolved. Now let's look at something more interesting. You want to allow a pip install on a box. So in order to find out what it connects to, you try a pip install, watch it fail, then search the logs for what it's attempted to connect to. It's pypi.org, so we'll add that. We check in the config logs that it's been accepted, then try again. Oh, it's still not working. Why would this be? Let's check the logs and query for the machine IP address. Pypi is allowed through, so what's going on? Well, if we look further, we'll see that it then connects to another domain, files.pythonhosted.org. So we're going to need to add that to the firewall rule too. Now we know that's in place, let's try again, and there we are. Now it's working. This shows that sometimes you'll need to add multiple FQDNs to allow something to work, and it may not be immediately apparent what the other domains are until the first one is allowed through, such as in this case, where we didn't see files.pythonhosted.org until pypi.org was let through. Here's a couple of gcloud commands to help you get the information you want out. The following will show which domains a machine is connected to and whether it was disallowed or not. Again, make sure you're in the project that contains your discriminat instances and logs. If you're not and you do have permissions to query that project, then set the environment Google Cloud Project to the appropriate project. Before running the command, you'll need to set the IP environment variable to your machine's IP and then run the command that's in the description. Now the second command, if you want to have a list of all the disallowed domains for your machine, just like before, set the IP environment variable, then run the second command. Thanks for watching.